So first and foremost, let's go to having a look at what the definition is of a companion, which is very important. So if you have a look on the screen, brothers and sisters, if you can bring up the definition of a companion according to the scholars. So first and foremost, Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir mentions the following. It'll be brought up on the screen, inshallah.
Yeah.
He says, knowing the companion, so this is the definition of the companion according to the Sunni ulama, very important. I want you to focus here, brothers and sisters. A Sahabi is anyone who saw the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, while the narrator, meaning the person in question, was in the state of Islam. And remember, even hypocrites can pose as Muslims.
Just pause for 1 second. I'll pause the time there. You're going to get your 7 minutes. I want to reference. You're quoting references, but you're not reciting. You're not telling what the reference is, word for word.
Brother, Sheikh Asrar.
No, you're giving.
Brother, respectfully, this is the second time you interrupted me, brother.
I'll stop the time. But
Carry on with the debate. Ignore the point. Carry on. Resume the debate. Please, any issue, come to me. There won't be any more interruptions.
This is the third time brother, are you going to interrupt me in this debate? Brother, respectfully, are you going to interrupt me in this debate again?
No, not now. If I
Not now. Okay. So you're going to get up in a minute, start coughing?
Carry on.
Okay. No problem.
There will be no interruptions. Any issue,
This is
just
really
bring
bad.
it to me.
Very bad. Brothers and sisters, all the verses can be seen clearly on the screen. Okay? All the sources have been cited there for a reason, for you to go back and check. If there's anything that's misrepresented, you're welcome to correct that. That's not a problem. My flow keeps getting interrupted. My introduction got interrupted.
Okay, resume. Inshallah, any issues, you just bring them to me.
Okay, how many minutes have I got on the clock?
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah.
So Ibn Kathir mentioned the definition of a companion. He said the Sahabi is anyone who saw the messenger of God while the narrated person in question was in the state of Islam, even if the companionship did not last long. So even if someone saw the Prophet for a few seconds, he's a companion. And even if they did not narrate anything from him. So it's even a condition that it's not necessary that that companion has to narrate from the Prophet. And this is the view of the majority of scholars, both from the later generations and the predecessors. Those who explicitly stated that citing is sufficient include scholars like Al-Bukhari, Abu Zura, and many others. Let's go to the next citation. So now we'll come to another definition of a companion. This is mentioned in Sahih Muslim, volume number 7, and it includes hypocrites under the definition of a companion. And this hadith is mentioned in 17035, and this is a very interesting hadith because this is during the battle in which Imam Ali Islam was fighting against his opponents, against Muawiyah. So Ammar ibn Yasir is asked, what's your reason as to why you took the side of Imam Ali Islam? Was it your opinion or was it something you heard from the Messenger of God? He said the Messenger of Allah did not enjoin upon us something that he did not enjoin upon all the people. But Hudayfa, the companion Hudayfa, remember this word, this name, Hudayfa, very important. He told me that the Prophet said, among my companions, there are 12 hypocrites. Among his companions, there are 12 hypocrites. The Prophet is saying this. He's saying that among my companions are 12 hypocrites. That's the next source. Sahih Bukhari, volume 4. Hadith number 3518. This is another lengthy narration in which is narrated from Jabir ibn Abdullah, in which this hadith you can see in the highlight part. Abdullah ibn Ubay, who is known as the chief of the hypocrites, the Muhajirin have called and gathered against us. When we return to Al-Madinah, surely the more honorable, meaning the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon his family, people will expel them from the Mina. Upon that, Umar said, listen to this, "O Allah's apostle, shall we not cut this khabith, evil person, Abdullah ibn Ubay, meaning shall we remove his?" The Prophet said, no, least people will say that Muhammad kills his companions. So here we got chief of hypocrite being called a companion. Another evidence of the definition of Sahabi. A Kharji called a Sahabi. This is mentioned, say, Bukhari, volume number 3. And this hadith is a lengthy narration. If you pay close attention to the chapter name, it mentions the Kharji and the attributes. So in this rather lengthy narration, if you come down to the bottom part, a man during the Battle of Hunayn was questioning the decision how the Prophet was giving out the booty of war. Okay, so in regards to this, Umar said, let me read the tradition. Umar said, "O Messenger of God, let me unalive this hypocrite." He said, "Allah forbid that the people should say that I unalive my companions." So we've got hypocrites included in the definition of companions. We've got Kharijis included under the definition of companions. We've got hypocrites included in the definition of companions. Let's come to another hadith. This is Sahih Bukhari, volume number 8, and this is showing us that even under the definition of a companion is what? Let's have a look. Hadith number 6,585, narrated Abu Hurairah, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "On the day of resurrection, a group of my followers," who? The followers of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, "will come to me at Lake Found, and they'll be driven away." The Prophet would say, "These are my companions. Look." The Prophet would say, "These are my companions." So these people are not known to the Prophet. They can't be hypocrites. They're not known to the Prophet. The Prophet doesn't know who they are. Look what it says. It'll be said, "You have no knowledge as to what they innovated after you left. They turned apostates as renegades." Let's come to another hadith. The next hadith is very interesting. There's a mention in Siyar al-Nubala by Al-Dhahabi. Dhahabi mentions that Ammar ibn Yasir was asked by somebody, "Are you a companion of the Prophet?" Listen to his response. He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "The companions of the Prophet are those who are in Jannah with him." So what do we know very quickly? A companion can include somebody who, no problem.